Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the 2021 RBC Heritage. These are my value plays. We are going to cover weather, ownership projections, my fades, my top 5 value plays. We're going to cover all that. I'm going to try and knock this out in about 15 minutes, so we're going to move kind of quick. And first off, I thank you for stopping by. Much appreciated. And let's get into this. Okay. So there is some weather that we have to discuss, and it's going to actually, for me, going to probably dictate a little bit of my my value plays because, as we know, when you get down past the 7,000 range, any of these guys at any time can go off, and any of these guys can blow up, and that's really for the whole field, right? Again, always remember they are the best in the world, these guys. Hence why at certain times you try to figure out why Justin Rose is leading the Masters. At any time, they can find something and away they go. Our job is to find the guys that typically do it over and over and at the certain courses. So with all that said, let's talk weather. So I am using Wind Finder, as I always mention, and where I'm pulling for is just a few miles from the course. It's Hilton Head, Singleton Beach. So again, I highly recommend if you are putting your lineups together and want to try to go by flight, because I think there is something to talk about here from even from a 4-day tournament, but also from Showdown, right, is something that you always want to look at. And so we look at Thursday. Weather is going to roll in. It looks like it's saying starting at 11 a.m. Again, I'm recording this Wednesday about noon Eastern, so things can always change, so keep an eye on it. But if we are going off, less than about 24 hours right now, it looks like the weather and the wind is going to come in the afternoon. And so I am going to be kind of building some of my GPP lineups with this knowledge, again, because it's a big difference. If you got guys that get off, and I think they're teeing off at almost like, early, like 7:30 a.m. So they're going to get at least 9 holes, if not more. They're going to be on their back 9. When you've got guys that are going to be teeing off, probably right around the 1:30, 2 o'clock tee time. That's a big advantage. Now, can they have a delay? Can they, it doesn't show any lightning. So, hopefully they're going to let the guys actually play in a little bit of weather. Lately, I don't know why, but I feel like they've been just having these delays, which have been screwing up everything. And then on Friday, it looks pretty clean. And then on Saturday, it's going to be a wet one. So, something I'm not going to do a lot of analysis on guys that play well in the rain, but there is those guys out there. I think of Shane Lowry off the top of my head, maybe a Fleetwood. Some of the European guys tend to probably can deal with the wet weather and some wind a little better than maybe some others. But really, this is the main thing I'm looking at, and it is going to sway me a little bit on the picks that I'm making for my value plays. Because again, if there's one little extra thing that makes you think you're going to get the 6,000, low 7,000 guys through, weather could definitely be one of them if they get a preferred tee time, just the way the weather works out. So with that said, let's go jump into some analysis and see who I like from the value side. Okay, so again, I am using Fantasy National is where I'm doing the research, and some of these, like I said, is not going to be all about where these guys fall from a swing perspective or what how recent form. Some of them are, and some's going to be, like I said, due to the weather is kind of swaying me a little bit as we get down here. So off the bat, Michael Thompson, if you watched my show yesterday, that, got to hit good drives. It's a lot about approach, birdies or better. I think with this kind of field, we saw what a good field will do to this course, shooting 22 under, I think it was course record. I think that even with these guys, they're going to have to make some birdies. And Michael Thompson's been in pretty good form. You can see recent results, not too shabby. Of course, his tournament history here, he's had an 8th, a 10th, a 42, 2 cuts. And if we just go look at some of his splits, so he really likes to putt on Bermuda, which of course this is. He can play in the wind, which is a positive, so should be able to handle a little bit of that. And we go look at some of the comparable courses like RSM. I guess best is a 17th. So he's done okay. He's at a 10th. I take that back. In 2012, he had a 10th. We already kind of looked at RBC. Pretty solid track record. And that's why I'm going to this, because it gives you a few more years. So he's had 3 missed cuts, 4 made cuts. Let's take a look at Valspar. Not so good there. Also want to look at the Amex just for the heck of it. So he's done all right at the American Express. That's just another Pete Dye course. Let's see. What about AT&T? Kind of on and off there. The Wyndham. Best was an 11th. And if we look at OHL, miscut in a 34. So from a comparable side, if I had to give him a grade, I don't know, C plus, B minus. Nothing that's earth shattering, but you know his game should fit this course, and he's been playing pretty well. Sorry about that. Let's see who else. And like I said, I've kind of already highlighted the guys. Smell the glove, Glover, Lucas Glover, man. He came out at the Valero and was just firing and making putts. Moved him right up the pack. This course, just when I was thinking of players that I would like to play, Lucas Glover, especially from a point perspective, as I mean, you know, he can get some DK points. Recent results have been pretty good. And, of course, he's had a solid history here. And then we go look at his comparables. Let's go take a grand. Now, this is the issue, right? It's all about what he does with the putter. Kind of falls under the Emiliano Grillo kind of camp. Pretty elite from tee to green. Of course, he's also a major winner, if you didn't know that. But so he's done well at the RSM, as you see, and that's one of my comparable courses. Let's just see the whole track record at RBC. Played her quite a bit. 3 missed cuts out of I don't know, what is that, about 10 events. Best finish was an 18th back in 2015. See about Valspar. He had a 13th. So he's done all right at Valspar. Tough track. I would definitely, you know, comparable to some degree with this course. AT&T, shorter course, smaller greens. Little different putting surfaces, but I think there's some similarities. Coastal course. On the Pacific instead of the Atlantic, but still, wind can blow there. Wyndham, best was an 18th. That was a while ago. Miscut recently. And OHL, he had a 5th here recently. So if I had to rate him from a comparable side, I'd get him closer to like a B. You know, B minus. Again, nothing that's going to be just earth-shattering, but definitely a fit. You know, I'm not going with the guys that, you know, are just elite with putting. I think you're going to have to do more here. You know, HV3, I kind of looked at. Good tee to green, but just the recent form has made me, I'm sorry, that was tournament history, but the miscut here, you know, not the greatest track record here. Substraka, I was actually watching some highlights, and I think he came out and shot either it was a 65 or a 67. There was a few guys. Let's just go take a look. I didn't pick him, but I just wanted to show you guys this so you have it for your own little. So we go look at the tournament at the RBC. Shows you just kind of the playing conditions this past year. And we just look at round 1, and I just want to pull up Seb. So, yeah, he came out and shot a 67. He had a 67 round 3 and a 6. So all I'm saying is in your brain, you know, you'd be thinking, you know, Seb Straka, you know, bombs the ball. It needs to be a big course. But he's done pretty well here. I mean, it shows a 33rd, but I don't really think that illustrates that, you know, he just had 171, but shot, you know, 4 under each day of the other day. So just so you know, it's not a bad play. I was kind of shocked when I saw that. But he is not one of my, you know, going to be one of my top picks. But I just wanted to pass that along. You know, I saw ownership-wise, Doug Gim again, pretty heavily owned. He is not one of mine. No tournament history. He's had a couple of cuts. You know, Doug Gim is just where it comes to kind of fall apart is on Sundays for him. Let's go take a look at the Valero just real quick. I want to go see what he shot on Sunday again. Oh, yeah, it actually had a pretty good Sunday. It had a rough opening day. Let's see here. Just trying to see what people see. I mean, of course, you know, from a driving perspective, but approach, not good. Scrambling, not good. I'm just always interested. I mean, I'm sure maybe Pat Mayo or somebody might have mentioned Doug Gibbs' name, and that sometimes will get ownership up. Let's go see what he's done at some of the comp course. So he had 18th at RSM. So maybe he had a 46 at OHL. I don't know if he's played in Wyndham. He had a miscut recently, but had 20th before that. So he's done at Valspar. Has not played. What about Amex? So he had a 5th. So maybe that's it. You know, they're looking at some of his comparables and thinking he, you know, because he has no history here. But, you know, hypothetically, even if he got in some kind of contention, the guy just falls apart. You know, Neesmith is a pure model pick. You can just see the model just loves him, and it always does because he does well tee to green. It's just because there's not a putting stat added here is probably the reason why. He has had a 33rd here, and also I think he had a pretty good opening round here. Let's go take a look at Mr. Neesmith. So at RBC last year, again, I highly recommend. If you've never watched the RBC, you can within 15 minutes go look at all 4 highlight rounds. It just gives you an idea of the course. It gives you an idea of how some of the guys did. You just get to see it with your own eyes. And we are looking at, started blabbing and got off who the heck we were looking at here. Oh, Neesmith. My apologies. Let's take a look. I just want to see what he did. So, yeah, he shot a 66, 67. And again, in this tournament, amazing enough. So I bring this up for Showdown, you know, because somebody might be looking at. But, you know, if you shot one round in the 70s, no matter what you did the other 3 rounds, you know, you ended up just like you saw with Sub Straka, like in 30th. That's just how well, without the conditions, no wind or anything. There was some rain. I know last tournament here, but the wind just didn't blow. So these guys were able to torch it. But anyways, Neesmith, good play at that price. But ownership, as you can see, a little higher. And I will do ownership after this. Brandon Hagee actually originally was not in my view, but he has got a really early tee time on Thursday. He does a lot of things really well. It's the driver that makes me a little nervous. You can see he had a second at Hondas where he kind of popped on the screen. He also had a 17th at Valero. He's also had some really crazy first rounds. He is positive on Bermuda. It shows here he can, you know, play in the wind a little bit. What I like is his approach. So he's actually gained where he typically will struggle a little bit. You know, solid around the green. Putter, you know, is a weapon for him. Off the tee is, you know, okay. But it's, you know, typically the approach is where if you kind of go over the history of his career where he struggled. But if we look at the RBC, he's actually never played here. RSM, 2 missed cuts, but he had a 35th. If we look at Valspar, I don't think there's a ton. He had a 69th and a miscut. AT&T, couple 30ths, couple miscuts. And the Wyndham, 2 miscuts. Let's see, OHL, he had a 40th. So I'm going to let you in. I mean, I'm going purely on recent form and his tee time and knowing that, you know, the putter and he can play a little bit in the wind. But he is alive for me. I'm going to be putting in the player pool. Doc Redman just popped in my brain as soon as I thought of this course. Purely because of how elite he is tee to green. So again, you know, the model kind of loves him scrambling. You can see it. And again, it's all about the putter. He also popped in my brain because he actually showed some decent recent form. He's also done okay at this course in the past. I'm just trying to think. I don't have. Let's just go look at his stroke gain because. Also, Bermuda, a smaller coastal course, which we don't have stroke gain data for. That's like his best. His best showing recently. The RSM, he missed the cut. American Express, you know, made the cut, but not very good. But here you go. Starting to get the irons back, like I said, for him, he's got to be firing because this is where he typically struggles. So funny enough, the putter started to be positive, and then, you know, the approach started to fall apart. He's not going to be one of my main value plays, but I just wanted to bring him to your attention. You know, wouldn't be a shocker. He's kind of faded behind the scenes quite a bit. There was a lot of, you know, guys like me that were, you know, touting Doc Redman a while back just because of how well he was playing tee to green. If I remember right, what did he do at the PGA Championship? Why do I feel like, where was that at? Yeah. So he also kind of showed up at the PGA here in California, Harding Park, where Morikawa won. They had a good showing at the Wyndham. Good showing at the Safeway. So he had a nice little run here, and then just kind of has fallen apart recently. But that guy, as I said, he's definitely someone that could pop up here. He's got the skill set, and the greens are small, so shit where Chase Sievert is definitely someone the model likes. I like. He's in good form. You can see here, he's never played the course. So if we go look at some comparables because of that, pulls his best surface, can gain in the wind, and if we pull up RSM, had a 23rd, but a miscut recently. We already know he's not played. I don't know if he's ever played Valspar. Nope. AT&T. Played twice, miscut in a 50th. About Wyndham. Miscut, OHL. What about the Amex? So he had a good showing at the Amex, the 12th and 22nd. And just so we can pop the Amex open, the Nicklaus course, par 72, but it is less than 7,200. And it is the stadium course in Bermuda. I would believe the Nicklaus course is too. So, some comparables there. This is I do believe it is Pete Dye, but I think Jack Nicklaus also had some input on this course. I don't remember now from my preview, but I think that was the case. So he said some of these start to run together. But anyways, Chase Seifert also has an early tee time, so I like him. An early tee time for Thursday. Like I said, it could come down to where flight, the morning flight or AM flight versus PM could ultimately be the guys that kind of get through the next. I mean, we got to see how bad it gets, but we'll it could be all for naught. Stuart Sink, you can see the guys, out of this field, elite, hitting good drives, at least over the last 12 rounds. Good on approach. Everything from a model perspective looks good. Had a nice showing at the Masters. Got that T12, so he gets to come back. Had a good showing at the Honda. He had his little West Coast did not suit him. Let's take a look at his putting splits over the history. So Bermuda is his best surface. So that's interesting. He can play in a win. Solid on approach. So you can see at the Honda, gained 7 strokes there. Gained on the putter. Looks like we look at his faults during the West Coast swing. Losing, everywhere except, approach was still not bad. Let's just go look at some of his past history. So the RBC, best finish was a 24th way back, but it's got some miscuts sprinkled in there. RSM, miscut recently. Had a 10th with his best finish. What about Valspar? Couple miscuts. Well, yeah, almost 50%. 50% make. Best of the 27th. AT&T. Nothing really I'd say to brag about there. Let's take a look at Amex. Miscut recently, but I had a 10th before 20th. So as typical with golfers, especially at this price, hit or miss. And then played OHL 3 times. It's been a while, but he had a 15th there a while back. But it's kind of hard. Again, from a comparable side, I give him a best case of C. But good recent form. Model likes him. He does the things well that he should need to do well here. And Bermuda is a positive surface, so I do like him. Just kind of scrolling through. Kyle Stanley, I'm not really going to him, but we'll go into Kyle Stanley. Why not? I've got him highlighted. The model likes him. He's actually shown some life for Kyle Stanley, right? At one time, was playing pretty elite. Putter's his nemesis. Showing here that he struggles if it gets really windy out. As you can see here, firing all cylinders but the putter. Let's go take a look. RBC, he's played her a bit. His best finish was a 33rd way back in 2016. RSM recently, 2020, he had a 6th place finish. Need to look at that again. Hold on. RSM, never missed a cut there. So I just wanted to show you that again. So again, I think it's a good comp course. Valspar, 27th, but that was a while ago. How did he do at AT&T recently? A 39th. Not bad. Wyndham, miscut recently, but he had a 13th, a 14th. So, kind of showing that shorter Bermuda courses might be in his wheel. OHL had a 46. And then last, let's just take a look at the Amex, a 32nd. So you can see, like I said, Kyle Stanley kind of fell off the map, but has shown some recent life. And if he plays his game, what he's been showing, this course could set up pretty well for him. I'm just scrolling down. Saw Kazire had almost a 10% projected ownership. I kind of try to dive into that. Of course, I don't know if a little bit is because of the Valero. He's a crazy hot putter, but you can see where he struggles here, tee to green, but makes up for it around the green and on the green, which at this course, could definitely help. But I think you got to stay in play. Tom Lewis, showing some recent life. The model likes him. Putting is his detriment. Just the scrambling, but everything else looks pretty good. We'll click on Tom and just look at a couple comparables. Yeah, you can see. I mean, you got to watch this when you see these bars real big. You got to look at this over here. So I mean, he's losing 0.18, so that's not even a quarter of a stroke. The visual part of it could kind of throw you off, even over here. So here is actually, because this is a full stroke against the field, he's almost gaining a full stroke again. He's European when it's super windy out. So can play in some weather. Let's go see. So he's actually never played here. He's never played at RSM. Never played Valspar. Striking out here. Okay, AT&T had a 14th recently, so that's a good show. Has he ever played the Wyndham back in 2020 at 51, 51st position OHL? Never played. And did you play in the Amex? No. So that's Tom. Do with that what you may, but could definitely not be a bad play. You got Slam Your Finger in the Window, play awesome, but I'm just showing Becumber. He's been playing pretty well. Model doesn't love him, but Villajagus, here's a guy, if you've been watching me for a while, I've been touting him, and I'm sticking with the guy. I mean, he showed up, right? Led the Valero after Thursday. I don't know what he shot there. It was like a 60. It was low. But Bermuda's his best surface. Can play to win. The guy can get crazy hot with his irons. That's what we're looking for. And let's just go see. I want to refresh the brain on what Villajagus when he was leading. Yeah, shot a 64. Now you can see he didn't keep it up. But he could definitely get hot. And I think also, just double clicked on that. So this is what first piqued my interest. So back at Sanderson Farms, this was kind of like, so he came out the Corn Ferry, played in the Safeway, didn't make the cut, but then at Sanderson Farms, just lit the field up. It was just a putter that fell apart for him, but gained. When I saw he led the field on approach, I was definitely very interested. You could see he's done well at Bermuda, he's done well at RSM, done well at OHL. So these shorter courses, did well at Honda. Valero. Now that's a longer track and a tougher, but for the price tag, I'm gonna take a flyer, and also he's got an early tee time. So I am on Villajagus. Tom Hoagie, the guy that will come up and rock the world. I mean, you can see it's, hey, 22nd, a cut, a 12th, a cut, So if you're going with that, maybe he will not make the cut. But the model, he's kind of ticking some of the boxes. And if we go look at Mr. Hoagie, Bermuda, on the very low side is positive. Let's go take a look at his comp. So he's played her 3 times, miscut recently, twice RSM. Best was a 9th, but a couple miscuts too for the Hogue. Valspar, never made a cut. I'm making a real good case for him here. Okay, a 12th at AT&T recently. He showed up on the radar. What about Wyndham? He's had a good showing at the Wyndham. 27th recently. 20th is his best. And what about OHL? And then he had a 3rd recently at Mayakoba OHL. We don't see the stroke data, but we know he gained total 12 strokes. So that's pretty solid. Again, early tee time. And he's a guy that can, as you see, can just go off a 12th, a 12th, a 20, or a miscut. A 3rd, miscut. Even at the CJ Cup, which was a pretty elite field, and the Zozo, he showed, did pretty well in both of those. And that was your, 75, 80 guys, which I'm actually kind of shocked that he even got into both those events. But either here or there, I'm on the Hoagster. And who else we got that I am liking? Hubbard, I pulled up. He was interesting. Again, this is the guy you play Showdown on Thursdays and Sundays. I don't know what it is, but this guy likes. He comes out hard, and he typically does well in the end. He has played here a little bit. Best was a 33rd. Recent form again, kind of on and off. Let's go pull up his. So Bermuda, he's neutral. Saying here you can play in a little bit of wind. Let's take a gander at the RBC. We already did that. Don't want to be redundant. So he's played RSM 5 times, made the cut 4 out of the 5. Nothing fabulous. An 18th on 2015. What about Valspar? Played twice, made the cut once, but nothing spectacular. AT&T Pro-Am, he's played 5 events, made the cut 3 times. Best finish was 26, but his recent was a 55. What about Wyndham? Had a 15th recently, so that's something positive. OHL made 4 out of 5. So, I give him, I don't know, C+-ish for his comparable courses. But, again, when you're down here, you're not going to get anything perfect. But, just somebody I wanted to bring to your attention. And maybe he's a better showdown play, as I mentioned, than an actual GPP all. Definitely not a cash play. Wouldn't put him in your cash lineup. Bo Hogue. Why did I pull you? Definitely not in good recent form. I guess, had a good showing at the API. The model, does most things. Not getting a lot of birdie opportunities. It looks like Bermuda is positive. Let's go take a look at Bo. I clicked on him. There must have been a reason. Bermuda is slightly positive. Can play. Oh, here we go. Can definitely play in a wind, I guess. From that. Let's see his comparables. RBC, nothing there to look at. RSM, he had a 30th recently. Valspar, nothing. AT&T, nothing to talk about. Wyndham, he had a 42nd. OHL, pretty well OHL, coastal course again. Pretty good comp, 23 and a 20th. And what about the Amex? And he had a 16th. So that must have been it. Some comparables. I'd give him a B on some comparable stuff. And then who else? I actually have an outright bet on Vaughn Taylor. Just it's not someone that I'm actually picking as I just from the odds it was. And I know, again, he can get super streaky hot. But just a side note. Tyler Duncan, these two guys I literally pulled up just because the areas that I was looking at within the model, just so you could see projected ownership is low. Both of them kind of fit everything that I'd be looking for from a recent results. Not great, but not bad. I mean, again, when you're down to 6,100, if you are getting a little nutty up at top, which I don't think you need to at this tournament. And then we look at tournament history, played here twice, had a 28th and a cut. Played here 4 times, 2 out of 3. I'll go look in both of them. I mean, Jim Herman, both of them are just, what do you say? Not the sexiest picks, kind of boring picks to say the least. But so there you go. RSM. He actually won in 2019 for Mr. Tyler Duncan. Well, that's his only win. So from a comparable course, he did really well. So that's something to know. And I did not know that. It wasn't one of the reasons why I clicked on it. It was more of he made the cut from a stroke gain perspective. I was looking at AT&T. Had a 22nd back in 2019. What about Wyndham? He had a 13th recently, the past. What about OHL? Played it 4 times. So it looks like this guy can play shorter Bermuda coastal courses. So, Tyler Duncan might be someone you want to keep on your radar if you need to, get down to this level. And then Jim Herman, while we're here, let's just take a quick look. He's the last guy that I kind of highlighted that might have some interest from a value play. That's not a real good trend there, you see. Let's go take a look here. RBC, where I looked at that. Played here 4 times, made a cut twice. RSM, played it quite a bit, And this is Jim Herman. If he's going to do well, it's going to be on a course like this. It's going to be a short kind of plotters. So he played Valspar 3 times. Funny enough, he had a third. That's pretty impressive for that course. That's a tough track. AT&T missed a cut recently. Best finish was a 17th a little while back. What about the Wyndham? So there you go. He won the Wyndham. So that's what. Yeah, I knew that's where he came on the scene for a lot of people. And you can see, funny enough, he was showing they had a pretty good track record there at the Webb Simpson Open, but did things very well. The putter, you can see, went in Fuego. And while we're here, let's look at OHL for him. Best was a 17th, but it's got some miscuts sprinkled in, and an 80th. I guess he just barely made the cut, I guess, on that one. So anyways, again, not the sexiest pick, but if you're down here, someone that could get you around the track, get you to the weekend. Okay, I think that's it from an analysis perspective. For the guys that I'm looking at value plays, let me summarize. Before we get out of here, let's go look at ownership projection for you guys. Okay, again, this is out of Fantasy National, and this is, again, now 12:30. Right now, DJ, from the top guys, it's Cameron Smith and DJ that are like the lowest owned. The chalk, of course, is Webb, which, how can you argue? The guy's got an amazing track record here, but as I just showed you, Jim Herman actually beat him at his number one track record, which is Wyndham. And so just so you this is my own kind of thought process for this tournament. I'm going to try to fade in the GPP, of course. I'm going to be building lineups a little around the weather thing. I'm going to be avoiding a chalk because, a lot of these guys we're going to show here, can do well here. I mean, it takes away the elite guys, I think, a little bit with the whole distance thing. And, brings in guys that typically we're not used to. So let's take a look. So Webb's probably the highest owned. The next would be Fitzpatrick, Abraham Answer, which is, guys that I'm on. But again, when I go from a GPP perspective, I'm going to try to fade some of this and just, like Cam Smith, can he do well here too? Yes, he can do well here. DJ, and when CT Pan won, DJ was winning that tournament. We can go look at it. Was winning the RBC in 2019. Came into Sunday with the lead and then just kind of fell apart, which was shocking, and ended up 28th. But if we pull that up and let me go to Dustin. Okay, so you can see 68, 67, 68, leading the tournament, and then boom, 77. I know this because I, of course, had him, in Showdown Finale. How could you not play him? When DJ's going in and the field was a joke. You had like Lowry, you had Kuchar and CT Pan. Actually, CT Pan kind of came up, moved up quite a few. Seamus Power. All I'm telling you is that, DJ, of course, can play well here just as easy as any of these other guys, as you guys would know that. Now, of course, what we saw from our recent form is what has got us all a little nervous. Okay, let's keep moving down. Who else is highly owned? Brian Harmon, 15 over 15%. Siwoo, the Pete Dye specialist. The Hoffman, good recent form. Chris Kirk, good recent form. Can also kind of fits his course fit. Michael Thompson, we already talked about. A little chalky from the downside. Neesmith, chalky. Dougie Gim can't finish on a Sunday, so I will be staying away from that. Those guys can have that 10%. Patty Gazire had a great, Sunday at Valero. I mean, the guy can get super hot, but he can also stink it up. So for 10%, I think I'll stick away from that. The Hoaxster, 3%, the guy we were just talking about. Anybody else showing up? Nope. Okay, so that just gives you an idea of the ownership projection. So when you are, making your picks, you do whatever your heart desires. But I'm just telling you, at this course, the way it sets up, and you can see the past champions. Now, again, a little stronger field than when CT Pan, but it's still not a bad field in 2019, and the same with Sadoshi Gadair. So, all right, let's go kind of summarize this for you guys. Okay, so my top 5 value plays are then. Going with Villagegas, he's had shown some real highlights. He's got the tee time I want. He's just got to put 4 rounds together. Now, Even if he gets me to the weekend for his price, I'm happy. But I mean, literally, this guy could top 10. It wouldn't shock me at this course. You got Smell the Glove Glover. Been showing good form. This course fits him well. So I like him. The Hoagster, again, I like the tee time, and he's done well, somewhat decent on this kind of a course fit. You got Brandon Hagee, who no one's talking about, but the guy's been playing well, and I don't see any reason why he can't keep it up here. Again, all these guys have early Thursday tee times, so that's part of the reason. And then Chase Seifert I was going with either way. So, was I on probably a little different kind of value play before? I was on Glover and Seifert from the word go. Villajagus was in and out of my brain, but once I saw his tee time, it was a no-brainer. And then Hoagie and Hagee, that kind of just pushed me over the edge. Who am I fading? All right, so I already said, DJ, as you saw with everybody, I didn't even know ownership projection when I looked at it. Now that I see how low ownership projection is, will I throw maybe a lineup or two into GPP? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do that, as I said, But overall, my team builds, I am fading DJ. The main narrative for here is, he just seems like he just hasn't since he won the Masters, it's like, I did it. And that was it. And now, like, everything else I've seen the guy playing, he just doesn't look like he's really enthused. I don't know how to explain it. It's like he got to the top of the mountain, and now it's like, okay, I'm good. He's also, of course, sponsored by RBC, so he can't typically. I highly unlikely he would draw, but if he was not sponsored by RBC, I think he would withdraw from this tournament, which he's done for the past 4 or 5 tournaments. That was not like a major or like something that was like a WGC event. So that was long-winded, but that is why I'm off DJ. Also, as you see there on the left, the RBC guy, Webb Simpson, no reason why he should not do well. A lot of these fades are going to be from an ownership side, as I already mentioned. I'm just going to fade the chalk and see where things lie. I just think this is a course you can do that. Sam Burns, this is more of, on one side, I'm kind of like, maybe this is the time, Sam Burns, but his game is just, from the putting perspective, what used to be very elite on Bermuda has been really bad. I think he's lost some serious strokes with the putter over the last 3 rounds. Remove that. Also, I'm just a little worried with him getting around this course. I don't know why he's all of a sudden falling apart, but until he kind of shows me that he's back in the mix of things, I can't play him. Brian Harman, again, this is a fade, not because this course doesn't fit him. From a cost perspective and an ownership perspective, also just coming from the Masters, we had 4 days, mental grind. I'm going to kind of just stay away from that. And then last, when I saw the ownership projection for Gazire, I just think people are making a kind of a rash judgment, like, they watched the Valero on Sunday and saw him and said, here we go. Now, because there's no argument from tee to green, the guy is not good. So he's first got to get to these greens before he can actually do what he does well. But from a showdown perspective, the guy could light it up. So there you go. That's my fades. Okay, if you would do me the privilege of clicking the like button and sharing this with whoever you think also might like it. If you didn't like it, that's fine too. I'm always looking for input to make this better. And if you've not subscribed, I beg of you to please subscribe. If you're watching this show quite a bit, I appreciate that greatly. I appreciate the interactions you guys are having. But if you don't have a YouTube account, it's not hard. Please sign up for one. Click the subscribe button. It's helping me and other people that do content for, it's our time. No, we're not, of course, there's no dollars coming back for this. And if I can help you, if you get the YouTube account, then leave me some comments. I'll give you whatever information I can. Or you hit me up on Twitter at DFS Golf Guru. All the best of luck. This is a fun tournament. I know we're coming off a little bit of a Masters hangover, even though I didn't think the Masters, honestly, was that entertaining. I think this could be a very entertaining tournament as long as we don't have a bunch of delays and the weather holds out for us. But I wish us some success. And again, as I said before, if you guys have some nice wins or some things you want to share, let me know, and I would love to put it in the next show. So take care. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.